look at Schumi's
car.
crash, dude. I don't know about you, but I've never seen. It's been a long time where I've seen a Formula One car cut in half like that, where it's just
Well,
hanging in bits.
they said the new regulations called for that. So the new regulations said that as part of the building your car is that back half should be able to come apart from the main body. The reason being is that if you get into a high velocity crash like Schumi did, or say Grosjean did, that it would split off, and the impact that of the pod that the driver's in would have less energy in it because there's less weight pushing against it. So if that was purposely done in the new regulations, is what they've said.
Is that because of Grosjean?
Yeah,
I think so. Hey, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. It makes sense though. Like if that was stiff and stuck to that to the pod, and you were going straight on,
yeah,
or also a little bit,
you can imagine,
say in a little bit of an angle, if that didn't split off, you'd be hitting it a lot harder than you would if it split off. So I think it was a great design. I know it looks kind of crazy, but
it's a nasty crash though. It was a nasty crash. You're like, oh man, just the way it flicks out, and the next thing you know, he's just facing the wall. Head on facing the wall, and it's just that little spin that rotates him, and just like, oh man, if he crashed head on, it would have been absolute disaster. Look at that young lad's face. He's all right.
Yeah.
He's all right. If anyone was concerned and they didn't get the update, I reckon.
Lift him.
Yeah, crazy, right? And apparently, I can't remember who was it, Johnny Herbert or someone, and they said if it was real bad, they can always, the whole seat and the everything that Schumacher's in can actually be pulled out, and he can be kind of strapped to that seat if it was like, a spinal injury or whatever, just to make sure they don't move him. Like crazy innovation.
I think they said that when they were changing the seat for Hamilton in Q2.
Oh really?
In FP2, when he wanted to change his seat to have a bit for it to be raised a little bit.
Hammy's mini seat.
Yeah.
I need the bigger seat.
Yeah, but it's funny, right? That Russell can't. I think Russell's pretty much stuck in this position. Yeah, he's too tall, mate.
Man, I tell you what, for a bunch of very short people by nature, F1, they really rip on whoever's shorter. Like Johnny Herbert was outside. I can't remember whose garage, but anyways, he was there with the cameraman, and they're trying to see if he's like, oh, Johnny, could you see under the car from there? And obviously, he's just standing up, the poor bloke, and they just rip on him. I'm like, mate, you guys are barely any taller than him yourself. Like, I've seen you stand side by side.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people give Sonoda crap about being small too, right? He's a little pocket rocket, they call him. And from what I can see, because I don't know about you, but it took so long for that replay to come about during qualies. Like, I don't know if you're watching live, but it took so long. I actually had to fast forward the recording so I can find out what happened to him. But do you think that he lost control there because of the curb? Like, he just overshot the curb and then he's just completely lost it, eh?
Yeah, I think, if I'm genuinely being honest, I think it was driver error. I think ever since Mazepin obviously got dropped and K-Mags is back, for the first time ever, Schumacher has a real reference point of like where he is. And potentially they came as a bit of a shock, like how much the gap, because it's not crazy gap, but at the same time it's 4 or 5 car positions lower than K-Mags, right? So I think he's pushing.
Yeah, good on him. Hard. He needs to push, but it's a hard track to be pushing on, with all those.
Well, he was on for a good lap.
The wall's so close. Yeah, I know, but he's still pushing, and it's still risky, right?
Yeah,
especially on a track that you haven't driven before. I think K-Mag didn't hasn't driven it either, but just because of his experience.
Oh, his experience. Yeah, his experience. But I mean, if you think about it with Schumacher, it's the first time where it's like, oh, okay, he has a real like benchmark of where he kind of wants to be. He's now got the car as well, so I feel like
from K-Mags,
that would sit differently as pressure, right? Like I feel like that's a new kind of pressure he's probably hasn't had before, and potentially we saw the outcome of that pressure not being handled well. But man, I love Schumacher. I hope the kid's a champion one day. Let's see.
I personally think he needs that push.
I
don't think
100%.
like you said, Mazepin wasn't a good, benchmark for him. And now that he's got one, now that he's got something to strive for, something to push more, he's got the right car to do that in. I think he's doing the right thing. Although the crash is bad, I appreciate the push he's making to try to make, to climb up the ladder a little bit more.
And he'll learn for next time. Don't push hard on that curve. Yeah.
Yeah, but I wonder how much flack he'll get when he gets back, or just now about wrecking and totaling the car. Not that he's done it a lot, but because remember how we talked about
he had more in the wall than he had a few costly mistakes.
I think Mazepin had more than him.
Oh, I think they were both pretty much the same.
Oh.
But just Schumacher
the reason why
better.
The reason why I bring it up is because we talked about it before. He's F1's little baby.
Yeah, he's the golden child. He's I'm pretty sure all of F1 held their breath, in that moment where he didn't move for a long time, and you normally look at the helmet, and the helmet kind of went a bit slumped, and it's and just everyone's going, "Oh,
where did
God."
you see that? I didn't see any footage where you could see him.
It was really there was one long pan down that's back towards the straight where he just came from.
Yeah, that's the one I saw, but I couldn't.
Yeah, and he's just there, kind of, his head didn't move much, and obviously they pan away. And I think after Grosjean, that's the new thing, because Ricciardo in particular was quite heavy-handed with the media after Grosjean's crash, because he's like, you guys sensationalized it. We didn't know what the outcome of Grosjean was, and you were replays after replays, when in the end of the day, this is a father and a real human being. We need to be more sensitive. So I think maybe the reason why they weren't showing anything is until they know he's okay, he's talking and conscious, they won't show the replay, because otherwise you're basically witnessing someone's death, which is probably not.
Yeah, that'd be tough. I don't think anything, and I've told you this many times before, nothing compares to the reaction I had to Grosjean's crash.
Oh,
nothing
God.
Yet.
No.
Nothing yet. Even Schumi's crash, I thought it was a bit it was hectic. It was it was heavy and it was fast, but I didn't get the same I literally I yelled and I held my breath when I saw Grosjean. I actually thought he died. Yeah, I thought he died.
Fire.
Straight up.
Yeah. There's something I like, something about F1 and fire has bad memories that go back to the refueling days. But yeah, we hadn't seen a fire like that in F1 in ages. But I got to admit, I screamed at Schumacher's crash. Just this. Yeah. Both so did I. I was like, oh yeah, heebie-jeebies. And then the way he came off it, oh.
Maybe for me, maybe it's because of the halo, and I kind of I have a lot of confidence in the halo.
Yeah.
That thing, man, it saves people, and even
it is a halo.
It brings me, and it's a great name for it too. It brings me back to the race where Verstappen kind of ran over Hamilton's head. That time without the halo in that instance too, he would have been. Who knows what happened to him.
Even Stroll on the same lap as Grosjean, when Grosjean went through, and was rebirthed through flames, right? That same race, Stroll flipped upside down, and in many ways, if it wasn't for the halo, potentially it could have been Stroll squashed by that car. But